Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into a really fascinating traditional text that outlines a complete, holistic lifestyle approach to drastically boosting your memory and overall brain power. We're looking at a time-tested Ayurvedic and yogic framework that doesn't just treat memory like some isolated brain function. Instead, it views it as something deeply connected to literally everything you do, how you wash, how you sleep, and what you eat. We're going to break down this source material step by step so you can see exactly how to build this pyramid of mental clarity in your own life.
We'll be tackling this journey as a 5-pillar pyramid. We're going to cover mental resolve, head and hair care, morning routines, the rules of a sattvic diet, and finally, a specific recipe known as Swami Dayanand's tonic.
All right, let's jump right into pillar number 1, mental resolve. The core concept here is actually remarkably simple. The text states that the absolute most effective first step to keeping a memory intact is what we might call autosuggestion. Basically, when you come across information you really want to retain, the text instructs you to firmly and repeatedly tell your own mind, I must remember this. By consciously directing your willpower and commanding your brain to hold on to the information, the source asserts that your memory will naturally just lock it in, making it incredibly easy to recall when you need it later. It all starts with pure intention.
Moving right along to pillar 2, head and hair care.
So from internal intention, we move to the physical exterior. The text introduces us to this concept of intelligence cells, or buddhi kosha, located right inside the brain. According to the source, the actual nerves that hold and support your intellect are concentrated in a very specific area on your head. To nourish these intelligence cells, the text recommends a light, gentle massage starting right from the upper root of the ear and moving toward the temple. Doing this, especially in the early morning with amla oil, is said to directly nourish those specific nerves and seriously strengthen the brain's capacity.
Okay, let's see how this builds into your daily bathing ritual, because the text outlines a very specific method here to sharpen your intellect. Step 1, you literally just sit under a tap. Step 2, and fair warning, this requires some real endurance. You let cold water fall directly onto your head for 10 to 15 minutes, gently rubbing your scalp the entire time. Only after you've done that, in step 3, do you go ahead and wash your hands, feet, and the rest of your body. The source explicitly claims this intense cold water technique provides immense strength to the brain.
But what about the oils we use? Well, the text offers a pretty strong warning against modern fashion-driven trends. It contrasts beneficial oils like traditionally prepared Ayurvedic Brahmi, Amla, and pure mustard oil against harmful commercial ones. It specifically warns that imported kerosene-based scented oils actually weaken your hair roots and send unwanted heat straight to the brain. It also notes that cheap oils mixed with colors, like peanut or mahua, cause physical harm. And it even makes the claim that the scent of jasmine oil leads to premature graying.
Which brings us to a super intriguing question posed by the source material. Does your actual hair length have an impact on your grain health? You might be a little surprised by just how specific the answer is.
1.5 inches. According to the text, being completely bald or having excessively long hair are both detrimental. For optimal health, beauty, and brain maintenance, exactly 1.5 inches of hair is considered the absolute ideal length. Now, the text does offer one exception here. Keeping long hair is completely fine, provided you can dedicate the meticulous time and attention needed to clean and maintain it properly, much like the extensive care women traditionally put into their hair. If you happen to suffer from a dry scalp or dandruff, which they describe here as white, crusty flakes, the text provides a totally natural remedy. You wash your head with a mixture of curd and gram flour. To protect the scalp's delicate balance, it strictly advises against using harsh soaps, soda, sour items, and salt on the head, because those are highly damaging to the natural environment of your scalp. Just to wrap up this physical maintenance pillar, the source mentions 2 additional practices. First, occasionally placing drops of pure mustard oil in the ears is said to actually reach the brain, providing it with cooling relief and nourishment. Second, when it comes to exercise, the text highlights Shirsasana, that's the yogic headstand, as the ultimate physical movement for nourishing and strengthening the brain's capabilities.
All right, let's transition to pillar 3, morning routine.
So, according to the text, the ideal morning timeline kicks off exactly 1 hour before sunrise. After you finish your morning ablutions, the very next step is to take a walk in a pure green environment filled with fresh air. This specific daily sequence of waking up early and immediately immersing yourself in nature is stated to be a guaranteed method for vitalizing the mind and massively increasing your intellectual sharpness. And this brilliantly illustrates a really strict rule the text presents regarding sleep. It makes a bold, zero-compromise assertion. If you stay in bed late as the sun rises, your intellect will become dull, period. In fact, the source confidently claims that you will not find a single sharp-minded, highly intelligent person who doesn't wake up early in the morning. So in this framework, early rising isn't just a good habit. It is a mandatory prerequisite for a high-functioning memory.
Next up is Pillar 4, the Sattvic diet.
The logic here is really fascinating. The text explains about hot, spicy, stale, or fried foods, along with meat and alcohol, completely ruin your digestion. That bad digestion spoils the blood, which then carries unnecessary, damaging heat directly up to the brain. Therefore, those have to be avoided entirely. Instead, intellectual workers need to consume a simple, light, and nutritious diet. To fuel a sharp mind, the text recommends eating ample amounts of ghee, milk, fresh fruits, dry fruits, and vegetables. Basically, keep the body cool and the brain functions at its peak.
Now, beyond just the food you eat, this lifestyle also ties deeply into the concept of brahmacharya. The text defines this as the conservation of vitality and a form of celibacy, and explicitly states that you must pay very careful attention to this practice. It advises that vital energy should only be expended when completely justified, warning that unnecessary loss leads to direct physical harm and seriously diminished intellectual sharpness. It is treated as a foundational component of a highly functioning life. So, the crucial takeaway is how this all ties together into what the text calls a sattvic lifestyle. By sleeping early, waking early, eating purely, and carefully managing your vital energy, you create an internal environment where all of your mental faculties and memory functions operate perfectly. It's a completely holistic, fully connected ecosystem for your brain.
And finally, we arrive at Pillar 5, Swami Dayanand's tonic.
Because the text strongly warns against cheap, commercial market medicines, it actually offers this historical alternative shared by Swami Dayanand's disciple. It's a cooling drink, or thandai, formulated specifically for a healthy adult to rapidly increase brain power. Here is the exact recipe. 4 masha, which is a traditional unit equal to about a gram, of brahmi, 4 masha of shankushbi, exactly 18 almonds, and 3 masha of black pepper. The text notes you can add milk and sugar to taste. It states that many people have consumed this precise formula and found it to be incredibly effective for boosting memory.
We've journeyed through the sheer willpower of autosuggestion, freezing cold water head massages, early morning nature walks, strict dietary rules, all the way down to a historical herbal tonic. It is a rigorous, deeply fascinating blueprint for mental enhancement. So, my question to you is this. In a modern world built around late nights, fast food, and endless digital distraction, which of these ancient pillars will you dare to implement first to reclaim your memory's true potential? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I highly encourage you to take these insights and start building your own foundation today.